Good evening, everybody. It's Alan. It's very late on the 25th. Well, it's actually in the morning. I worked tonight and they want me to work tomorrow. And I'm going away for a couple of days, which means I'm getting up like in a few hours. That's okay. I got some sleep this afternoon. I wanted to do a really quick reading. I was actually going to do a whole heap of stuff this week, but I just don't know if I'll be able to read where I'm going. So I'm just going away with a bunch of blokes. It should be interesting. But anyway, I just want to have a quick look at Bernie Sanders because I was seeing an interview with him the other day, and I know he's been with AOC and on his campaign trail and going around the countryside. I had actually planned to have a look at like try and find a website, but I literally just haven't got time because I've got to be up in a few hours for work. So fortunately, I'm being driven to where I'm going to, but I need to be present. But anyway, so I thought I'd just have a quick look at Bernie and just see how he's going because he did say he was tired. He's 83 years old, and what a extraordinary person he is. Always rallying for the underdog and believed in universal health care and you know surprise surprise. So yeah, I just want to have a quick read on Bernie and then I'll shut down for a while. I'll probably be back on Saturday or next week. I think I'm coming back because I'm literally going away for a couple of days, but I just wanted to touch base first. And I also wanted to say a big thank you for all the comments and the likes and the subscriptions and everything else. So I'm sort of getting near 1,000 now. I think I'm about 960 or something like that. So just incredible. So I'm very grateful, guys. Okay, really grateful. So let's just have a quick look at Bernie and then I will sign off. Okay, come on down. Yeah, Bernie Sanders, 83 years old and just running around like he's a teenager. What a amazing guy. All right, Bernie, what is happening with you? How you doing? How are you doing, Bernie? How are you doing, Bernie? How are you doing? Okay, good, good. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. That's interesting. Come on up, guys. Okay, so the first cutout, guys, is the ten of coins or the ten of pentacles. So this card is really about legacy. And if you see here, there's the three generations going through, and I kind of see that this is Bernie here, and he's kind of trying to shine a light for the younger generation to follow in his footsteps. I think he's just, and this is going to be his legacy. People are going to remember him for inspiring younger people and just inspiring um, people to get out and vote. But there's a lot of richness to his character, I think, with his ten of coins. But tens are like, you know, they're they're the symbols. They're like things are coming to an end. And I'm not saying that his life is coming to an end, but what I'm saying is that he's 83 years old and he's tired. And I think he's just wanting to pass the baton on, you know. He's trying to get things back to how they should be, to how they were. And I think that is going to be his legacy in that he used his resources, he used his wealth to communicate to other people, to try and get things back to the way that they were. When life was simpler, when people were just being kind to each other with this six. And I think he's really kind of looking inwardly right now. I think he's really trying to be introspective and a lot of his ideas, I think he's nurtured them for a long time. And I do think And I believe that Bernie is a independent, so he's not Democrat or Republican. And I kind of get the impression that, and I could be wrong here, but I kind of get the impression that he's probably spent most of his political career just shining a quiet light on the peripherals of the parties, you know, and he's just trying to shine a light on all the infighting, right? And I do think that this represents the GOP, but also the Dems probably. And I do think, and I could be wrong here, but I do think that the Dems are probably going through a period of transition where it's almost like maybe like a metamorphosis, like a changing from within. But I think there's probably, as Lena would say, there's probably a bit of argy-bargy going on in both parties. But I think Bernie is trying to shine a light on all of that, but also be that voice in the wilderness, shining that light and revealing the way. But that's probably the best side of the hermit card, like just being really introspective and like I said, I think that this is the only major arcana in this reading, and I think this probably really sums him up. He's just been that really introspective guy, in the wilderness. And I think he's just really fed up with everything. I think he's fed up with the false promises and, stuff that both parties have offered in a cup. We can get this done and we can get that done. And really, I don't think that there's been a lot going on that has really pleased him. I kind of think he had a higher vision for that. And, you know, and he might be getting some kind of office of some sort, but I don't think he's really interested. I think he's just more wanting to be this, just shine that light. And in a way, like I said, that's going to be his that's going to be his destiny. That's going to be his what's the word I used before? His That's what people are going to remember him by. That real richness of character. And yeah, so that's just a very, very quick reading on Bernie. And I do apologize, it's not that long, but just a really quick one. But I think this is the card I kept getting drawn to. This is him. And I'm sure he is tired. I mean, he's 83. But like I said, hopefully he can pass the baton on. And I do think that, he probably, where is the old man here? Yeah, he just wants to sit down. He doesn't want to be running around. I think he just wants to sit down but he can't because he just cares too much for people and he cares too much for the country. So I must apologize, guys. I was going to um, find some information about where the rallies are going. And I just want to say that, and like I said, I probably should have said this before on YouTube, but entertainment only. I'm but a humble tarot reader from Australia. Um, I think that he's just exhausted, and he just wants to sit down and just pass the baton over. And I kind of think that's what's happening with AOC as well. Yeah, but what I meant to say is I just must apologize because I wanted to get some information on like where his rallies are going, and I just wanted to say, in the midst of all the craziness, like try to focus as much as you can on people like him and people like AOC and Tim Walz is getting out there as well. So I think slowly there's a groundswell that's going on. And I think as that groundswell goes on and the people that have got a bit of common sense start to emerge, I think we're going to rise above this. And I think in a way, this is how a lot of us feel as well. I think, we feel conflicted and we feel we're trying to make sense of everything that's going on and why is this and why is that. But sometimes too, I think, even for us, we need to be like this. We need to be like Bernie. We need to just take a bit of time out and just have that introspection, you know what I mean? Have that silence away from all the insanity, all the cray cray, all the argy bargy, as Lena would say, and then hopefully we can just get things, back to some kind of normality. I think it will happen. It's just going to take some time. Um, yeah, so I think that's a very, very quick reading on Bernie Sanders and a little ad lib there for me as well. All right, guys, have a great night, and I'll be back probably early next week. and I'll see you soon. Okay, good night. Bye.